Hey, I use Google Meet, and I've just found out that we're getting all this special features. It hasn't been loaded on mine yet. So anyway, the main thing with Google Meet is that you use the present mode when you want to use the entire screen, and it does take a couple of clicks. So you're going to go ahead and share it, and then after that, you're all set to do whether you want to do the camera or you want to do some other things. And at the very top, you'll notice I had everything preloaded. That's the main thing. Just if you're going to do an ed puzzle, have it ready to go. If you're going to do Quizlet, whatever, that way it just makes it just one click. So normally I'll start off using the camera, and notice you're going to have to open up the smartboard first thing before, and then hit the camera. So then I can do like a warm up here, and the kids see this. It's all in presentation mode, and then you can write with the pens just on it, like. You remember like we used to do when all the kids were here? That's how but now we can do it and they can see the whole thing at home. So this works really great. I use this a lot. And however, sometimes if I'm like, I'm running a little late, I don't have time to turn that whole thing on, you can also do it just here. I can just take a regular pen, colored pens, and I can just write the answer on the paper, and they're still seeing it in the presentation mode. So either way, so I was supposed to talk about the sound too. No problem. I experimented with my second block, and I was standing here, and farther away, and they said they had no problems hearing me. It's just my voice went down, but they could still make out clearly everything I was saying. So that was a good sign. Okay, so let's say after we've done this warm up, you do have to do a couple clicks. I have to go back over to this section, and I'll keep it in presentation mode, because now it's time to go to the ed puzzle. We're doing the weather. So a lot of times I do the ed puzzles. I don't know, do you do it? I do it with the class, and I'll call on various people to answer certain questions, and they'll have to give me the answer. But it's also loaded in Schoology. So if they're carefully watching, they'll go back, and I love how Edpuzzle, because it'll just send it right to you with the grades. All right, so after we've done that one, we've done the Edpuzzle. So I'm like, okay, well we've just learned all of our verbs. Now I'll go right to Quizlet, and they can hear the sound through it and see the flashcards. And this is also loaded in Schoology, so they can go after later and have access to all those flashcards to go over again during the asynchronous time. All right, and one more thing that I was supposed to do for you was, so now I want to switch to this camera from this one, so I need to go out of presentation mode. So I will stop presenting here, all right, and it'll go over to the camera. And I've set up I changed the story around in the book because it's really boring.
That's so good.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and do this story with the students using the vocabulary and grammar and everything. Yeah, she's going to have twins. Oh yeah, you got to spice it up. You got to get their interest. They're very curious about that. But
What's the name of your soap opera?
I'll step over there, Ingo and Claudia. I'll stand over there, and they're getting ready to get on a train. And but at the same time, they've got Schoology open with a CAMI document, and they're doing actually a listening comprehension at the same time. Which I love CAMI. I know a lot of y'all are using it, and Ms. Dunbar just said the money came through for it, so we're going to get to keep it.
Oh, good.
So anyway, so it's great. They're in Schoology. I'm here. Sometimes I love this Chromebook. Sometimes I'll also join the Google Meet as well, and I'll have it going on 2 different screens. So I'm very dependent on 2 computers now, as many of you are. So anyway, I think I was within my 5 minutes, right?
Any questions?
I'm here. Any questions? All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You did an amazing job. And thank you to all of you who helped me be able to do all this, really.
Have a great weekend, guys.
Thank you.
I'm going to tell my colleagues.
Have a great weekend.
I'm here first.
That was funny.
Teachers make it work.
Well, I'm glad you
I know.
Teachers make it work. Once I'm in a class with him, I'm the good one.
Have a great weekend, guys.
Hey, Tom, can I just get you just for voiceover reasons?
You did a great great job, thank you.
Oh, yeah,
And
man.
your soap opera was a huge hit.
Yes.
The kids love that thing.
Yes.
Okay.
Todd, could you do me a favor and stand right here
Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Dr. Hardy, you too.
and come right over, man? That was absolutely perfect. And all I need from you, Tom, man, if you could just stand right there
Yeah,
and just, I'm just going to get you to just summarize what you just went over and just give us blocks here. And on the, if you can move this, like.
without
this way.
moving at all, just kind of
Boom,
a,
that's it. And
Okay.
just give us a wrap up of that and just say, so, and you don't have to say, hey, what I just said is just, I'm gonna take some of this so I can just have it voiced over while you're doing the actions. We can see you going from this screen to that screen.
okay.
That's it.
So I'm
And
just gonna do like a bulletless summary.
that's it.
Got it. Okay.
And 3, hold on just a second, Tom. And please take off the mask, Tom, because it comes across as, that's always muffled on it.
Yeah, well, what are we gonna do once the kids are here?
I know.
I gotta have the mask on,
This is true.
you know.
This is so true, Tom. God
This
dang, it's
mask
so
is
true.
gonna be on my face when those kids are in here, believe me.
And and I already know, I'm already thinking like,
I'm not going around those kids without a
like,
mask on.
and I talk so much. Okay, fine.
All right, another topic.
Yeah, exactly, man. Tell me about it. Oh, all right. I'm going to, you know what, I like this shot right here. I'm gonna move it up just a little bit more. And I'm just gonna, yeah, that's perfect, because it's right there in front of, in 3, 2,
I use Google Meet, so the main thing is if you're gonna do a presentation to the whole class, you've gotta make sure you go into presentation mode, which you'll see on the right-hand side. You'll just click on that, and then you do have to do a couple clicks by clicking on the class and then hit share. That'll open up the screen so the kids will see everything you're doing at home and allows you to do some internet websites. So, for example, today I did, first I went to the camera, the smartboard camera, which I already had loaded. That's another thing you have to do. Make sure that, do that as the first thing you do, is to click and open up your smartboard camera. So then I clicked on that and I did a warm up on the screen and I wrote with the regular smartboard pens, looked great, different colors. After that, we went right into our weather review. So I went back into where it had Google, and it showed that I was still presenting, but that gave me access to where I had already preloaded the websites. So I clicked on Edpuzzle, that was already loaded, it came up like that. We were able to listen to the Edpuzzle and practice the questions that were there. As soon as we finished that, we had been learning some new verbs, so next one over, right at the top, everything preloaded the website for Quizlet. So I clicked on that, and the students were able to go over their vocabulary cards. And the best thing is I have both the Edpuzzle and the Quizlet already loaded in Schoology. So afterwards, if I go too fast or the kids might have a question they didn't want to ask in the class, they can go back into Schoology for the file for that day and find both of the links to go back and practice vocabulary and look at the weather again. Finally, when I wanted to go back to the camera that is mounted on my computer, I went ahead back into my Google Class Meet and I hit stop presentation. So once it stops, it takes away the camera from the smartboard and it goes into the camera that's on your computer. I use this mode particularly if I'm going to do on the side over here, I have a little soap opera story I do with the students. All I had to do was flip that camera on my laptop and it was like a little mini stage set. So I could perform that while the kids were also in Schoology. They had opened up a Candy document where they were going to have to check off a listening comprehension as I went through the story. So these are just some tips that I hope will help make your life a little bit easier. And if a senior citizen like Tom can learn this, I know everyone who's younger than I am can definitely learn it as well. Thank you.
You just made my